Cousins Gibb are a music duo consisting of Nick Endacott-Gibb and Debora McLaine from the famous Gibb family, of which Nick is the newest member. He was adopted at an early age, but in 2019, following a 10-year search to find his biological parents, Nick traced his birth mother and discovered that Bee Gee Morris Gibb was his father. The other member is Debora, whose mother Leslie is the sister of Bee Gee's Barry, Maurice and Robin Gibb. And Nick and Debora are on the line with us here. How are you doing today?
Hi Toby, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well,
thanks. Going well.
Excellent. So, Nick, how did you discover that none other than Maurice Gibb was your dad?
I always wanted to know where I come from because I was adopted into a lovely family in Sussex, and but I was very musical, and none of the rest of my family were musical. So I always wanted to know where that came from. And it just basically, after finding my birth mother back in 2003, and through various things that she said, who my father was or who it could be and all that sort of stuff, my search then led me through her sister, my auntie in Scotland, to it being Morris Gibb. My birth mother worked in the industry. She was a studio manager, worked with Sir George Martin, and sort of knew everybody at the time. And it was just a little fling back when Morris was 17. He was very young at the time. So back in 1967. So yeah, it after about a 10-year search, I finally got the DNA match with Adam, Morris's other son. And that was about 3 years ago.
And how did you react to that news? Because I take it you weren't thinking, I wonder who my really famous dad is. You were just thinking, who's my dad?
No, I got to an age where I wanted to know, really, it was more important to know for my medical history, which I didn't have, as well as knowing where my music come from and just knowing my identity. It was a lot of that. I got to my sort of late 40s, and it was you need to know if anything's going to happen. So it was about that. And I knew I got some creativity because I'm so passionately creative with music, that the fact that I wasn't brought up with that, I knew it had come from somewhere, but no, I just wanted to know where I come from, really, and if there's anything to worry about with my health.
Yeah. Now, Debora, you two are of course related because you're the daughter of Leslie, who's the big sister of the Bee Gees. So, what was it like when you found out about Nick and when you two first met?
It was actually Mum that put me on to Nick, because at the time I wasn't really active on social media, or I was just busy living life. I really wasn't caught up in it all. Yeah. And I knew there was a lot of stuff out there on me from performing and everything. I did not give two hoots about it at all. I never followed it. It didn't bother me at all. So, and Mum said to me she saw about Nick, so she reached out to him. They got talking. I think, how many hours, Nick?
A good few.
Quite a long time. Yeah, it was for quite a long time that they, when they were talking, and Nick mentioned, how he's always had that music creativity and didn't know where it came from. And Mum said to him, well, you've got to talk to Deb because she's pretty much the same. Yeah, you've got a lot in common. So from there, I reached out to Nick, and the rest is history. We made magic happen. So yeah.
As of maybe this time last year, from previous interviews and things, you two hadn't met. Has that been remedied yet?
Not yet. Yeah.
No. So, we're our fingers are constantly crossed.
Yes.
we can do that at some stage. Yeah, because we've been working together now for a while. A good couple of years, and without still meeting and getting to know each other as people. As cousins. It's we're hoping to do that soon. When we can.
So, having recorded your songs virtually, how's that dynamic worked?
It's all right, actually. It's obviously we'd prefer to be in the same room. At the time it's a lot easier to bounce ideas off each other and that kind of thing. But generally, today's day and age, it's quite easy to do. I get some ideas down here in my studio and then send over to Deb, and she then works on her sort of vocals and that sort of side of the stuff and any lyrics, and then sends back to me, and then I send back to her and she sends back to me, and and it builds up, and I then finalize it here. So we just send files to each other. It's quite easy,
and we click. Like we've always thought the same, and we interpret things the same. It's not been difficult at all. So it's been really easy.
Yeah. And listening to your music, you sing very well together as well. If you didn't know any better, you'd be like, it's almost like they're related.
It's really strange, isn't it, Deb? Because we sort of, especially when I'm doing the finalizing of the mixing, it's there are times where I think, wait a minute, is that me or is that Deb? You know, although I'm male and she's female, it's there are tones there that really just that match, and it's really strange. But yeah, it's great.
Now, the first single that you released is Tragedy, which is a cover of the Bee Gees song, but it feels weird to call it a cover because it's almost like you've made it your own song.
Yeah, it's a reworking really, and it was something that we thought we'd do. We wanted to do something together, you know, first off, sort of as a homage to the family, really, you know, now I know my family roots, and do something together with using one of their songs, you know, and it just sort of made sense to work something differently. We didn't want to do it exactly the same anyway, whatever, you know, song we chose, but Tragedy just really shouted at me, especially the words, you know, to work it as a ballad, more of a ballad and more of a slowed down, heartfelt version worked really well with the lyrics, you know, and it just built from there. It just came together really well. Is
it hard to do something with such an iconic song and make it sound different without ruining it? I think
some songs just lend themselves to be worked like that. Others, you know, not so well, but I think, you know, there are some songs out there that just, you know, I remember the song, was it Gary Jules did a reworking of Mad World, you know, quite a few years ago. And I was always, you know, taken aback with that, really, how that sounded and how different it was and how emotional it was compared to the original. And I think, you know, there aren't many good songs, I think, that you can do that with. But it just worked with Tragedy, and we're really pleased with how it just sort of worked itself, really, once we started in a certain, you know, approached it from a certain angle.
Yeah. I don't think Nick was keen to share it with me, just the slowed down version. And then once he sent it through, because he was like, oh, I don't know. He sent it through and I got goosebumps and went, that is haunting. Yes, that's what we're doing. And then I played it to Mum and she was like, oh my God. I just said, we're going to have a play with this. So it was, and it turned out as so damn good, didn't it? So
very
really proud of it. Yeah.
And now you've came out with your third single, which is new, called One More Day. How did this song come about?
This was something that I had some ideas together and recorded a while back, and it was just sort of sitting there, and it was originally going to be something for another project I had, but because it was so different, it came out so different to the band I was in and I was running, it sort of sat on the shelf, and it wasn't something that I thought could fit that, even though I wanted to evolve the sound of the band, you know. So it sort of sat there for a while, and then I started working on it and thought, actually, this is something that warrants me and Debbie getting our hands on, you know, and doing something with it, and producing it further. So I just started to work on it a bit further, talked to Deb about it, sent it to Deb. She really liked it. And it just grew from there, and it became a duet, and then it became really big and really epic, and then suddenly there's loads of strings everywhere, and it just it became this really big sound space, really, you know, which is great because you know, we have had another original single before that, which was around Christmas time, and it's totally different from that, and that's the thing. We're trying to sort of just not really be put in a box in what we do. Just want to sort of write. Just the next song will be probably a punk song. No, I'm joking.
I can't wait for the next one. It's completely opposite to what everyone will be expecting. So
yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. Do you ever worry about kind of living in the Bee Gees' shadow? Because I suppose the music that you do, although the Bee Gees did some ballads in the early days, what you do is different from them, and it's your own sound.
Not afraid of living in their shadow. I've always lived in their shadow. I've always been an entertainer living in that shadow. So I was damned if I do and damned if I don't. People wouldn't book me because they thought, oh, she's okay. She's related to them. She's probably always got work. Not the case. No, and I was like, no, please, I'm looking for work. So, they seem to think that everything's there ready waiting for you, and it's not. In this family, you get out there and you do the hard yards. You have to do the work. You can't just become an entertainer overnight or a recording artist overnight. You've got to know how to work your audience and do it. Nothing comes easy. Nothing is handed to you to give you that platform to get out. So you have to work just as hard as everyone, but it's more of a handicap being related in this industry because you get benchmarked, you get measured against that every single time. So when Nick came across, said, Nick, you're an entertainer, get ready to be crucified, judged. They'll either love you or they hate you. Like your music ability, they will love you or hate you. So you really need to be thick-skinned. And it was about 15 years ago, I just decided I don't care. I love to sing and I will continue to sing. I've earned my living from singing. I'll continue doing it. So, it's just one of those things. It's great, but to have them as your family, and sometimes you have to sit back and think, wow, they've done all of that. And I'm part of that family. So it's mind-blowing, really. So, and something to be very, very proud of. So, but I know in my realistic dreams, I would never become anything like that. I mean, how often do people become that famous? You could count it on one hand. So you can't set your ambitions too high either. And when you've already got 3 megastars in your family, the chances of 4, 5, 6, it's just you keep it real. But we'll always be measured.
Well,
what else is coming up for you two? Are there any more singles planned?
We'll always be more singles. Absolutely. We've got another couple in the pipeline at the moment, and we're still working out. In fact, we chatted the other day about which one we're going to bring out, and it is going to be a lot different to what we've done, especially One More Day. So, that's we're working on that at the moment, and it's just a constant thing. We just want to keep writing music, keep writing songs together, and getting songs out there, the best we can, because we just love it.
And are there any plans to meet up anytime soon? Because I think it's possible now.
Yes.
Well, hopefully, yes.
Yes. We do want to meet. Yes. We want to work together. We want to be able to sing together live. We both can do it. And just to bring that sound together in a room together, would be amazing.
We hope to sort of get a show together when we can do that and work out a show together, where we can, rather than a concert or a gig, we're just doing song after song. We just want to have a chat with the audience, talk to people, have a bit of a laugh, and do a few covers perhaps of our favourite songs and our original ones as well. Perhaps do something a bit like that, like an audience with us or something, rather than, so something like that, a show, and perhaps with some other people involved as well would be a nice thing to do. So we've sort of got some plans, but it's just the time for both of us, as we're both busy with work and stuff. So it's working it out so it can work properly.
The question is though, who's going where? I mean, Nick, are you going to Australia, or Deborah, are you coming here?
I don't know. Maybe we'll meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
We might have to meet in the middle or do both.
On a boat.
Or do both.
Yes.
I hear Nick's terrified of snakes, so
I am a bit actually. Yeah. Especially those brown ones you were telling me about, Deb.
The brown ones, yeah.
I don't know them. However big or small they are.
What about those spiders?
And them as well.
Oh, we have lots of those.
Keep them away from me. I don't mind little
Lots
ones,
of
but those big hairy ones or the
Yeah.
big ones with the long, like pointy legs, I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, we've got lots of those. Yeah.
You can
creepy.
keep them.
Well, where are we able to keep up to date with you two and find all your music?
Okay, well, we're on obviously Facebook, Cousins Gibb Official. That's really our port of call at the moment. The website we're getting together at the moment, but we're on Instagram, of course, at Cousins Gibb. And One More Day you can check out on all the platforms. It's out now: iTunes, Apple, YouTube Music, Bandcamp. You can buy it from there if you want. Right, if you don't fancy streaming, you can always buy it from there, and you've got it whenever you want to listen to it, wherever you are.
Yeah. Well, many thanks to both of you for coming on. It's been great to have you.
Thanks, Toby. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you so much.